out there. I've seen glimpses of it.
A yearning lives within me, and it's not just hunger, it's a craving.
There is more. There has to be.
Something that has graced my skin.
Yet I can't seem to grasp onto.
Everything around me paints joy.
Fun, adventure, community.
Warm sun, laughs.
Yet, it's not enough.
Discontent that has led to agony.
A sword that is leading to paralysis.
A weed that is choking the beauty around it. This prize, is it worth it?
I was believing a lot of lies about myself, and it stunted me a little bit.
I just remember this time feeling like a big block, and I was like, man, like, what is this? I can't think about him. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know how to feel about myself right now. Like, it was just like a mess.
Never been away from my family. Like, I don't know where I am. Like, I don't know these streets. Like, literally, I don't know my way around. I'm just kind of felt like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing what you called me to do, but I'm feeling a little bit lost.
I didn't actually believe that the Lord could fully heal me from depression.
I was so broken. I was engulfed in fear in every area of my life. I was insecure on the deepest level.
I came into this college really confused, lonely, depressed, checks off all the boxes. And
like, I didn't want to take out any loans for college, for school. I felt like he was telling me to move out, and so I was gonna have my rent and then tuition on top of that, and my tuition had doubled.
I struggled with depression, would have a lot of episodes, a lot of mood swings.
I can't afford that. I'm already trying to get out of debt, and it doesn't feel like wisdom to take on more to serve your kingdom.
It was one of the hardest seasons of my entire life. It was rough.
I didn't have a job for my, the first semester that I was here, and it was a really difficult thing where I was like, it was just a hard thing to walk through. Like, I just can't do this in my own strength.
I knew that I needed to be here. So the fact that I knew that I needed to be here is what, I physically could not get myself to withdraw.
Oh my gosh, what if I'm dealing with this or I'm struggling with this and everyone here's a Christian, I don't know if I can hold up to that.
And I just remember hearing his voice saying, what are my attributes? What are my characteristics? And I was like, you're holy, you're good, you're beautiful, you're set apart, you're righteous, all these things. And then the next thing I hear is that's how I see you. And I was wrecked. I was wrecked because I realized in that moment, he's not searching for the things that I'm searching for. He's not looking for the imperfections. He's actually just looking at me as his child, and all of the attributes that are of him inside of me, he called out. And it's just a moment that I realized this is not a time for me to pick myself apart, but for me to realize my characteristics and all of the good things that are in my life are because of his character.
I've grown up in church my whole life, but I thought, this is just who I am, this is just how it's gonna be. I'm gonna be sad all the time. And the Lord said, no, that's actually not how I made you to be. I hold a lot of emotions, and I think that's really beautiful, but I wouldn't have been able to discover that unless I actually believe who the Lord says he is.
Today I'm going through life, and I just see how good he is through friendships and conversations and the flowers outside and just the enjoyment of life.
God has been my provider. He's been my best friend. In college, you look at times where, you have those highs and then you have those lows. But I think it's the most important time in your life where you actually have a relationship one-on-one with God. Yeah. And that means spending time with God in your private time as much as in your public time.
Because in those moments that I've always wanted to check out, he's been on the other side waiting at the right moment too.
During my time here, the Lord has completely healed me from depression, and I would say that God has been my comforter at the college, because when I say in every moment of need, there has never been a time where I haven't felt the Lord's love for me.
In that season of loneliness, I seen God's hand on me while being able to, have that community, make new friends, show that God's continued to show me why I'm here.
I grew up doing it in the reverse order. He was my friend, maybe just like a buddy. Like, it's actually been so wonderful to submit my life to him, to know him in that way. Now from that, I'm learning friendship in a different way.
Instead of hammering me about it and being like, you could steward better, you could do better. It was one of those things where the Lord showed up in such a loving way and was just like, how much more would you be reliant on me if you did the sacrificial thing and you got up? How much more would I show up for you as a father?
But to also know that he is relational, to know that he's close.
I will say my first year of college was learning what the secret place was and learning what it meant to truly surrender.
I always come back to that, okay, what does God say about me? What does he say about this feeling that I'm having? And he's the one who's been speaking back to me.
He's just been so kind. He's been so gracious, just with all the people that he surrounded me with. I mean, I love telling it all the time. I came from no community to a bunless amount community.
God has been I always say genius. He just shows me where to go, where to stay, self-discipline of putting in the hours to study. Just my best wingman, I guess you could say, in a way, showing me my blind spots of where I need to really hone in, tune in, things I need to let go. Just a best friend in a way, but he knows even more.
I would say God's been a counselor to me. He's seriously spoken to every part of my life.
Yeah.
When I needed it the most, and when I was either struggling or even on the highest of mountains, he was there counseling me through every moment.
God's been my redeemer. I remember on the first worship night that we did to kick off my first year, I just heard him say so clearly, this is a season to redeem what was broken before. And I've seen that every single day through being here, and I've had things redeemed that I didn't even know needed to be redeemed until they were.
I'm glad that he did that, truly. Honestly, I'm really thankful. I'm so thankful for the Lord for doing that. And it's just another example of he always sees your path before you see it yourself.
He's been so faithful, and he's been someone who is so intentional. He hears, he listens, and he speaks. He's really real.
I think that's what it means for me to know God, is to trust him in the unknown and trust him in the seasons where, things don't look right, but know that he is there and he's closer than any friend or any brother.
God, I guess, if I had nothing, I would be okay with that because you're all I need,
In order to know God, you have to be knowing your identity in God. And then to know your identity is to be intimate with God.
God's taught me that he speaks so kindly about me. He thinks the world of us. I love my life. God is so fun. I get to live for him every day.
It's actually okay to be broken, and it's actually okay to grow and learn and not have it all together. He doesn't delight in me being a good Christian. He delights in me being me.
Once you keep pushing through and just keep abiding and staying tethered to God is really when you can start to flourish, because sometimes you begin to learn a lot being uncomfortable.
At Conference of 2024, I was serving on the creative team, and I was struggling so bad. My photos weren't turning out. It just wasn't going well at all. And on the second day of conference, God told me that I can't operate in the gifts that he's given me in my own strength. And just hearing that humbled me. After that, literally that night, I was serving on the creative team and my photos turned out great. And it's I think that's the first time that I experienced what it's like to operate in your giftings side by side with the Lord.
I have definitely learned that I am more capable than I've ever given myself credit for. I think it's just shown me I have the capability to do what he's asked me to do and what he's called me into.
Don't limit the Lord. Don't limit yourself, but boast in your weakness, because that's where Christ is made strong.
I came here a pastor's wife, just kind of assuming that, that I needed to step into pastoral. I remember coming here so uninspired, but after actually being in this environment, my first semester, I was so inspired by the people around me in the digital spaces. I have been able to learn so much in photography. I picked up a camera for the first time literally a year ago today. Just the satisfaction that I find in creating in that aspect and in that space is just so freeing. I think a lot of people around me have really just helped me unlock my passions.
Since being here, I've realized that life is worth living fun and breaking out of your comfort zone a lot. Realizing that I can do things even if they seem out of reach.
It's oh my gosh, these people have personalities, they're funny, we can joke about stuff. And it was always a good reminder when we would have those fun things that we can go off and do, just that everyone's human still.
I learned that there's actually much more to who I am that I didn't even realize.
Is there a moment when you look back, you're like, I'm never gonna forget that moment?
Every moment is so good. I really love, I just love it all. It's just been amazing. I think my favorite aspect of the college has been my discipleship group. I look forward to gathering with my discipleship group every Tuesday because I know it's always going to be so impactful and so powerful.
I think discipleship groups, having those intimate moments with my brothers, being able to trust people in a room. We can laugh, we can joke, we can cry, but we can walk with each other shoulder to shoulder and make sure that we're there together.
It was definitely the Maxwell's house where I was just it was so fun, it was so good, it was so nostalgic. Because I talked to Miss Maxwell and I just said, thank you. Thank you so much for opening your home to us. And she just wanted to know my story. And I was like, you want to know my story? Hello? I'm okay. And so I just started telling her. And it was just a beautiful moment of nostalgia.
We were doing a side project for conference one year and I just need to get this over with. So I went outside to do it and it started raining. And then out of the blue, Pastor Henry pulls up and he helps me with this project for 10 minutes. It's a sweaty project, we're moving really big things and it was raining. It was just really impactful for me because he was about to go preach in 15 minutes. So it was 15 minutes before he's preaching, he's out here helping me move all this heavy stuff in the rain. Then he just gets up on stage and preaches a message.
I think my favorite moments probably come out of worship. Our chapels are just incredible. We were singing out, actually, Jesus, we love you. And it was we had this idea hey, let's do this, let's do that for the bridge. And we ended up just completely messing it up. We can just sense that something had shifted because it was completely out of nowhere.
If you had told me a couple years ago that I would have put on llama ears and gotten up and saying Grandma got run over by a llama, I would have laughed in your face and been that is never gonna happen.
I'm thinking of the talent show, how cool that was. And when Austin and Kai sang Agony. First of all, it was just fun because my theater kid came out and I was singing along with them, but also just how they went for it, and it was a blast.
One of my favorite stories was this bonfire at Professor Rod's house. Started off really sentimental. Started off, talking about Jesus. But we literally ended up the night doing campfire songs and singing SpongeBob and stuff. It was so, I don't know, I loved it so much. It was just a special moment. It was this is kind of what it feels like to be in college with my best friends.
Yeah, it was Luca Gallio. We were in the old college building. He brought all of his DJ gear to the studio, and he did like an entire DJ set for, I kid you not, 4 hours. And people were coming in and out, and he was just like on the booth, just cracking me up. It was so funny. With the laser beam. It was amazing. It was like one of the best things I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Chapel fell on Halloween. I figured obviously someone's gonna dress up. Well, I think 2 people did. So I dressed up as our queen, iconic Brenda. So I had the bob and I had the pants and the little badge. She was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, Brenda, like I'm you. And she was like, and she just kind of like bounced around like she does, I don't know. She didn't realize that I was her at first and I had to point at the thing, but it had like a short blonde bob. Like, I don't know, I don't know. But she loved it, I printed it out and gave it to her as a Christmas ornament last year, so, which wins? I just have to issue a public apology to Austin Powell. You know, guys, I'm not very good at Mafia. I never play. But I like to watch because it gets really funny. Don't know what I did. I totally messed up the game. So I'm sorry to Austin because I don't know the rules. So this is a public apology.
I waited for it for a year, was to play Brenda in Bananagrams. I can't believe that I actually beat her once. I loved those game nights. Those were like my favorite things. I adored being with everybody.
I feel like you beat her like a ton of times. I played some of those games. You're being humble here. This isn't the time to be humble.
Okay, maybe I won a lot.
My second year in school, we did these vlogs, and then some of my junior year too, and then it kind of fizzled out. Kai Lassett did a vlog one time, and I was kind of helping him with just ideas and stuff. And we were like, what if we like did a tour of the building, but in like each room we're doing like just something like really, really weird, just like really random. It is legendary. We walked, so he took it down the hallway. He was like, hey, what's up everybody? This is like room 1. We got like a bunch of people to just like start throwing stuff all over the room. We were like picking up chairs and like shaking them and like knocking over desks and throwing pillows across the way. And he was just like, and then we walked out and then we went to another room, and then the other room we were like all in a circle, like in just the dark, just like just looking, just like there's like a little iPhone light like in the middle of it, and we were just all in a circle around it, just like sitting there in silence in one big circle. Not all this stuff, but yeah, like those were really fun times.
OMG, volleyball was really fun. I think people like saw my rage then though. Yeah, sorry, I'm just being honest.
Tell me about
Yeah, I'm really competitive, so I was playing volleyball that whole night.
Honestly, both Christmas parties, the years that I've been, they're just so fun. I love Christmas, I love parties, hanging out with people, but the talent show, that was top tier.
Laser tag, that was so much fun. Like, I think what I won't forget about it is Rachel Davis just going in. Like, I've never seen such like, all right team, I don't care if I have to jump over these obstacles. I'm going to win this for my team. A lot of pizza was eaten that night, and then running in a pitch black room.
We would throw my mattress in my living room, and we'd all just like hang out watching movies all day, like snow day. That's what we would do. We'd all just be in there. That really felt like college.
I cannot express how much I love to just dance and have fun with my friends. And my first year, I danced so hard. No, I had to wake up the next morning and go to work, and I think I had to get up at 5 a.m. And when I say I could barely get out of bed, my back was so sore, like my calves were aching, and I was like limping around at work, and like everyone's like, what's wrong with me? I'm like, dancing in the fall. That's what happened.
Probably my favorite college memory was the talent show. I think just like seeing everybody like come together and like just support everyone, and like seeing just like different things that you might not have ever thought of anybody doing, but like they're great at it, and just seeing everybody come together and just support each other is super fun.
It actually was in I believe it was like a Monday morning spent with a friend from school at a coffee shop. just unpacking both of our testimonies and sharing about our life and who God is to us.
Take the pressure off. To take the pressure off and to truly fall into the ocean of His grace, where it's like He loves us so much and He formed us and crafted us and created us for such a time as this.
It was His grace and His mercy through each season pruning me and getting me exactly where I am today. And it really provided me the ability to see the grander picture and be able to dream bigger, to launch me into the full purpose of what He's called me to do.
Stay humble and stay teachable. And even if it doesn't look the way that you thought it was gonna look, or that you think it could look like, the way that you want it to look like, whatever it is, whatever your perceptions of how it should be, die to those, because the Lord's got such a good plan in store for you, and His ways are actually higher than your ways, and His thoughts are actually higher than your thoughts.
I've had so much room here to just be creative. I feel like it was this house, it was this place that taught me creativity. It's a birthright, and it's inherited from our Creator.
Trust that you trust Him. Trust that you hear from Him. And even if you think that you're hearing incorrectly, that He'll still show up and be faithful.
Press into what the Lord is showing you. Don't doubt when He's speaking to you.
Every new season is a new opportunity to learn how to trust God again, because He was faithful then, He's faithful now, and He always will be faithful.
Be open, be willing, and be ready. I mean, it's the willingness I feel like applies to all areas. You know, be willing to serve those hours, be willing to have the Lord break down those areas in your life, be willing to be vulnerable.
Our practicum professors really just took time, even out of their own day, to explain to me how to work an in-ear. That was quite embarrassing. I was like, what noise am I hearing? I just remember Evan was so gracious and so patient and just so kind, and was also willing to laugh with me instead of just at me. He just started teaching me the more practical hands-on things, even just outside of practicums, so that I could feel more equipped to do what I'm called to do, because I also didn't really get that at Belmont.
What's it like to kind of stand on the precipice of the unknown?
See, this is where I'm gonna start crying. It's crazy because I've done this before. I've graduated many times. I even told my family, I'm like, you don't have to come to this one. I know you've come to all 3 of my other graduations. But there's always still just the sense of, just in transition and change and a season ending. There is an unknown of what's the Lord gonna bring next, and how are things gonna change, and are things gonna change that in the way that I'm expecting them to. And there's a lot of routines and a lot of fun things that I've been a part of at the college. Part of me knows my season is ending, and I can feel that in certain ways where I'm okay, I'm ready to step out and lead and do other things, and my time of being poured into and receiving has come to a close. It's I don't know how it feels. It still is a big thing to think about, the precipice of the unknown.
And I'm really not trying to be unk when I say this, but it really felt kind of a passing of their torch moment in a way, because I remember being in this section with the college, and and I remember it was just such a deep, intimate moment. And I remember just kind of glancing and just kind of looking right in front of me, and just noticing especially the newer students that came into the college, just noticing their start of their journey and recognizing that I was once in that spot, and now I'm kind of getting on the tail end. And so that was kind of a moment where I was oh wow, I really just did this. I really just did this whole college experience, and it's cool to see that the Lord is still going to be moving within the students once I'm done, seeing them fulfill their journey. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling.
It's been a good game.
And I couldn't be more grateful I played it. The prize?
I see now.
It was already given to me.
Our time here is done, but there are still more games to be played.
From the class of 2025,
and to the many ahead.
Here, this belongs to you.
I just kept hoping, I just kept hoping the way would become clear. I spent all this time trying to play now and find my way here. See, I've been having me a real hard time, but it feels so nice to know I'm gonna be alright. So I just kept dreaming, yeah, I just kept dreaming. It wasn't very hard. I spent all this time trying to figure out why nobody on my side. See, I've been having me a real good time, and it feels so nice to know I'm gonna be alright. So please don't take my feelings.